Okay, let's move into today's lesson. All right, I know that some of you missed me last week. I never come for lesson. Oh, I miss you guys too. Hello, Evan. Nice to see you. All right, so today our main focus is actually on a new topic called area and perimeter. All right, so today we'll be doing area perimeter. The next 2 weeks, we'll be also doing area and perimeter. Today's focus is mainly on perimeter. Next week will be on area. And the next week will be a combination of area and perimeter. After that, what happened? After that, we are going to do something called end of year revision already. All right, end of year revision. All right, so we want to try to secure the what? We want to try to secure the 85% and above. Children, aim for this. Seriously. All right, aim for this for your end of year examination. All right, aim for 85% and above. All right, for the end of year paper. All right, and 85%, right, just to let you know, 85% is a AL2 already, right, which is a very good score already, right, which is a very good score. All right, so this is your aim for the final year examination. Can? Try to aim for that. Can one. All right. Okay, so yes, Evan, I miss you too. Right, and just now, Lavanya, were you do you play the piano? Oh, that was you playing the piano. Wow, that sounds really very nice. Yeah, I heard that. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah. Okay. Come, children. Let's talk about the lesson properly now. Let's go. Okay. Okay. So today we'll be doing mainly on perimeter. All right, and it's a very simple topic. You just got to slow down and try to count properly. All right, and mathematics, as you know, most of the time it's about adding, subtracting, counting. If you reduce all your careless mistake, you sure can score one. Can? So down here, before going into area and perimeter, I always start off with one extra question. So today's the extra question, right? I got this from one of the past year school exam paper. All right. So many of these questions are coming out already. Can you see like that one? All right. They will ask you to tick whether is it true or false. All right. This type of question is actually quite simple. All right. This is actually a bar chart. Can you please try? Right. Can all of you please try? All right. And tell me, is it true or false? All right. So this is like for the first part of the answer, part A and part B. So go to your chat and tell me, is it true or false for part A or part B? It's very simple. All right. Trying to help you, I will write out the numbers here. So down here, right, the bird, right, is between 4 and 6. So it's a 5. Can you see? Right. So the bird, there are 5 birds down here. The cat got 10. The dog's got between 12 and 14 is a 13. The fish is a 8, and the hamster is a 2. All right. So for bar graph, right, for bar graph and all this, right, the first thing I will do is actually to write out the numbers. All right. Write out the numbers. All right. So can you please try to answer the two questions, part A and part B? Oh yes, Lavanya, I saw your entry. Shiloh, I saw your entry. Caleb, I saw your entry. Thank you. All right. And all of you, part A, you are right. Very good. All right. Shiloh, part B. Lavanya, part B. And also Caleb's part B is also correct. Good job, huh? It's very simple, right? All right. So today's extra exam question is very simple. Hey, the rest of you, Ruben, Caleb, all right, can you try to look at the question and go to the chat and tell me what's the answer? All right, so I got submission from Shiloh, Lavanya, and also Caleb ready. All right, maybe Ruben, you can try. Caleb, you can try a bit. All right, and Jane, can you please turn on your video if your video is working, please? Thank you so much, if you don't mind. Oh, yes, Caleb, thank you. Your answer is correct. All right, and part B, maybe you can tell me your answer. All right, so most of the students, right, most of the students who participated in this, right, is a very easy question. The first one is a false. All right, so in the exam, you're supposed to put a tick into the false. And very good, Taylor, thank you. Your answer is a true for the second one, which makes you also correct. All right, for those who don't understand, never mind, let's take a look at this question. The question said that 10 more students kept fish. Fish are only 8. Then hamsters, hamster is 2. How can it be 10 more students? Right? 8 minus 2, right, is actually only 6 more students only. Can you see not? there are 6 more students who kept fish than hamsters. All right, so this statement is incorrect, it's false. Understand? And part B, there were twice. What's the meaning of twice? Twice means 2 times. There were twice as many students who kept cats. There are 10 students who kept cats than those who kept birds. Correct, correct. All right, so cat lovers are 2 times of bird lovers. Correct. So it's a true statement. All right, so simple questions like this do comes out. And when it comes out, please secure the marks. It's not difficult. Even can understand? Okay, right, easy, right? Okay, very good. All right, so let's move into the topic properly, area and perimeter. Okay, come. So we have some quick notes about today's lesson. Okay, so today's lesson, right, is talking about something called perimeter. Perimeter. All right, and the meaning of perimeter is what? All right, the meaning of perimeter is the outline. All right, when you talk about perimeter, we talk about something called the outline. Or to make things simple, we call it the outside. All right, we call it the outside. Jane, your camera doesn't work. It's okay. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. All right. Yep. Okay. So besides the perimeter, right, we are also have the opposite of it. The opposite of perimeter is actually called the
area.
Yes. Very good. All right. The opposite of perimeter is actually called the area. Thank you so much. All right. It's not really opposite, all right, but they always comes hand in hand. All right. So if you look at it that way, right, if perimeter is the outside or the outline, area will be the inside.
Side.
The inside. Okay. So this is a very simple, like a very simple definition of what is a perimeter and area. Okay. So usually, right, usually the square will comes out, the square and the rectangle will come out. All right. So usually if they give you a square, okay, usually if they give you a square, okay, so a square you all know lah, huh? A square, the length of a square is the same throughout.
The rectangle is length long.
This is like a square. Sorry, my square today not very nice. Okay, this looks more like a square, right? Okay, so usually they will ask you a questions, the simple question, they will start off with something called a square like this. All right, so what's so special about the square? All right, just to let you know, a square, right, the sides are all the same length. All right, so sometimes your school teacher will put in this stroke like that to show that they are of the same length. So every time you see this stroke, right, it means they are of the same length. Okay. So for example, they say that maybe the square, the length, the one side down here, this is called side, one side, all right, the one side is equal to, let's say, 5 centimeter, right? Which also means that what? Because you know that it's a square, the sides are the same. This side is also equal to 5 centimeter. Can you see? All right. So what's the meaning of perimeter? Perimeter means the outline, the outside. So you just got to imagine, right? Imagine yourself down here, right? You're at this corner and you start to walk. Walking, all right? And you walk from left to right, all right? After that, you walk from top to down. After that, you walk from right to left. After that, you walk from bottom to top again. Can you see not? So you're actually walking one round. So if you walk one round, right, you'll be taking 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Teacher, is there a faster method? Of course. How many 5s are there? There are 4 5s. There are 4 5 cms, right? Which is equal to 20 cm. You can do that. You can do that if you're comfortable. Can you see not? All right, so that is called the perimeter. It's simply the outside. And what is the inside? The inside is actually this portion here. right? The green color portion here. How do you find the inside? For a square, right, we will take the length times the breadth. All right, length times breadth. All right, so usually to find the area of a square or a rectangle, we use the length times the breadth. All right, but for square, right, usually I don't call it breadth. I call it length times length. Why? All right, why? Because the sides are of the same length. All right, they are of the same thing. So one side is 5 cm. All right, the other side is also 5 cm. So both of them are considered the same thing. All right, both of them are considered the length. So 5 times 5 will give you a 25. We use the cm square to show the difference. All right, with the perimeter. Okay, so how do we use the length or the breadth? A quick one. For example, down here we have something called a rectangle. All right, a rectangle looks something like this. Okay, so down here, right, what do I do? Remember the stroke thing? I put in one stroke here, I put in one stroke here, which means what? Which means that they are of the same size. And down here, I put in 2 strokes like that and 2 strokes like that to show that what? They are of the same size. All right, so your teacher will show you something like that. You must know what does it means. This is called a rectangle, children. Then just now I believe, right, if you heard Caleb say something called length long. Yeah. So can you look at the rectangle? A rectangle, can you see that down here, it has something that is longer. So this part is the longer part. All right, so I always call it length, long, or long, length, LL. Can you see not? So the longer part is called the length. All right, the longer part is called the length, and the shorter part down here is called the breadth. All right, the shorter part down here is called the breadth. So this one I call it the breadth. All right, so I hope you can understand why I didn't use the word length times breadth just now. All right, because the word length, right, means it's a longer, right, than the breadth. So down here as a square, right, the sides are of the same size. All right, so I call it length times length instead. All right, so for a rectangle, what happens again? What happened? You want to find something called the perimeter. Again, you start from here. All right, you take a walk towards your right hand side. All right, you take a walk downwards. You take a walk to your left hand side. And you take a walk upwards again. Come back to the original position. All right, you will find the perimeter or the outline. So let me just give you some numbers. For example, the length is, let's say, 10 centimeter. And the breadth, for example, is 2 centimeter. All right, so you can actually work out by saying the perimeter is 10 plus 2 plus 10 plus 2. So you just walk in one direction, can you see? All right, and that will easily give you a perimeter of 12 plus 12, 24 centimeter. All right, that's called the perimeter. And how about the area? Here comes the area. Area, we call it length times breadth. Now we can write the word length times breadth already. Why? All right, because there's a difference. There's a difference in the size of the rectangle. So for the length is the longer part. The length is the longer part. We call it a 10 centimeter. All right, and the breadth is the shorter part, which is a 2 centimeter. So it's very clear. All right, the length represents the longer part. The breadth represents the shorter part. 10 times 2 will give you a 20, but remember your units, you have to put a cm square here. Right, the square actually shows you the difference between the what? The perimeter and the area. All right, so these are very, very simple idea of what perimeter and area represents. All right, so these are just something that we can look into before we go into the lesson in proper. All right, and primary 3, right, I know I very kiasu. All right, usually I taught this in primary 4. All right, but you guys are in primary 3. I want you to start to remember for me already. All right, I want you to remember something called the single number, the twin number,